Should women over 60 avoid these beauty products? I'm Laura Rae, and today I'm going to talk about an article I recently read where it talked about women over the age of 50 avoiding certain beauty products. And I thought, I'd like to test that out because I bet I could make a few of those work that they say wouldn't work. And not only that, I'm not over 50, I'm over 60 because my birthday was in July. I turned 60, so I'm past the 60 mark. So today I'm going to test some of the things that were said in this article and show you how I would do things. First of all, the article said about mature women avoiding matte foundation. And I usually find that on my skin, I have combination skin with some texture, with fine lines, that a satin foundation, in my opinion, looks the best. I found that this Catrice HD Liquid Foundation worked great for me, even though they said it's mattifying. Now, I needed it to last a good 10 to 12 hours for my workday, and it did. And it just looked prettier as the day went on. So first off, one reason I think matte foundations don't always work for mature women is possibly their skin isn't prepped. So what I do to prep my skin is to make sure I put on moisturizer and sunscreen. Now, one I reordered, a past favorite of mine that I feel like they've changed the formula and it's even better now, is the Calming Moisture Barrier Cream from Pyongyang. This is super affordable. It just goes on so beautifully in my skin. I feel like my skin drinks it up like water. It's just amazing. It is one of my favorite moisturizers I've ever found, and thankfully it's super affordable. Now, another thing is some women don't wear a sunscreen under their makeup that looks luminous. One that I've been using is the Healthy Skin Lab, and this has a luminosity to it that just makes a more matte foundation look beautiful. Not too much shine, just brings it almost to a satin finish. So I think we can wear matte foundations as we get older, as long as our skin is prepped properly and we're using the right products underneath. Glitter eyeshadow has to be one of the most debated topics for the mature community. So many women love glitter shadow and they say, I am never giving it up. And other women say it's just too much because of our lids on our eyes not being as smooth anymore and it just doesn't look as good. Well, I'm going to go with Team Glitter because I feel the glitter eyeshadows that are out on the market have changed greatly. I don't typically wear much glitter because personally I think of glitter more for evening and I don't go out a lot in the evening. But sometimes I'll wear it even during the day just because I love it so much. Now, I recently sprung for this palette, the Golden Palette from Natasha Denona, and I have to say, her glitter shadows are absolutely amazing. You almost think they're shimmer shadows when you look at them in the pan because the glitter is so fine. What I've found is some of the drugstore shadow, the glitter's very chunky. And I really don't like it because at any age, I've never liked glitter falling onto my skin from my eyeshadow. So that doesn't matter what my age is. I've never liked that look on myself. And I found that the chunkier shadows, they do fall. These don't fall in the under eyes and just look beautiful. So for someone like me that still loves glitter, it's worth it to me to pay a little more for eyeshadow that I know is going to look beautiful. Now, another thing I think is why they say not to wear glitter shadow is application. I love at this point putting it on with a fluffy brush instead of packing it on with a flat brush that can make eyeshadow look really thick and heavy. I've gotten away from using a flat brush regardless what it is, even if it's a matte shadow, because I've found that's just too thick of shadow. Just like I've had to thin out other products like my foundation and my concealers, I've had to thin out my eyeshadows too. One thing I've also had to do is when I apply primer to my eyes, really thin it out. And a tool that's helped me so much with that is this jelly tool. I'm telling you, this thing's a little miracle, because what I did today was I found I put way too much product on my right eye. So I just went back and touched it and had enough for the left eye. So this saves me so much product. Not only that, it allows me to get everything I'm applying with it super thin. And that's, I think, the key as we mature. We have more lines, more crepiness where product can collect. So having a method of thinning it out can make the difference, and you can still use these types of products. I've seen more and more articles, including this one that I've read, to stay away from powder blush, and I don't think that's necessary at all. Again, it's the application. You want a blush that goes on softly and is buildable, and I say that's the right way to do it for any age. Again, so many things are targeted towards us to change that I think are just good practice for anyone wearing makeup. I love this kit from NYX because it's got this really nice contour. It's got some gray to it. And I do go on very softly. And I think contour can be great as we mature. My skin is looser than it used to be, so I feel that it sort of lifts the cheeks when I do use a little bit of contour. Also, my nose is not straight. Sometimes as we age, from blowing our nose a certain way or rubbing our nose a certain way, it might get a little off center. And I'm loving this tool. I had bought a tool from Patrick Ta that was so pricey. This one is very affordable from e.l.f. It's their nose contour. And I just went back into this same shade I used for my cheeks, went down the nose, and sort of tried to make a little more of a point. I have more of a bulb nose, so I'm always looking to try to make it look a little pointier. So you have this end for drawing, and then this end can be used for blending out. And I just did a very soft, subtle contour where hopefully it can't be seen, but yet it sort of reshapes everything. I want to share with you a tip that I started doing recently that I think is so helpful in place of tight lining. Now, some people will say tight lining sort of closes off the eye. Others love that it brings out the color of their eyes. But most eye doctors have said recently that I've seen online that it can bother your cornea, and I don't want to do that. So what I did was I used this liner that I have. This is an ink liner from Physicians Formula, and they sent this to me. I'm so glad, because when this runs out, I will repurchase it myself. But what I do in place of tight lining, what I did is I took the pen, went as close to the lash line as I could on the top of my lid so that it was darkening the lashes. That's the key to making the eyes look larger, is getting that lash line a little deeper. To me, it also makes the lashes look longer once you put mascara on, because you have that darkness at the base. Then I took my BK Beauty 208 brush and went into the dark brown powder and went right over that line. That whole area now has a softness to it that I think is beautiful. You can also take this brush and right on the end, just lift up. Now, I also took the pen and went really close in the outer third of my eyes to deepen the lash line there. You don't need to do that step, but I like to do that because I feel it ties it all together. And then I just take the pen and join the bottom with the top lash line. And that's it. That's a great way to give your eyes a larger look, more emphasis, and not tight line. One thing the article said was not to use too thick of a mascara, and I can understand that. I have used thicker mascaras before that have even closed my eyes up, made them look smaller because the lashes looked too heavy. One thing that I would recommend that I feel strikes that perfect balance is the e.l.f. Lash Extender, this tubing mascara. Now, one thing I love about this is no flakiness, no darkness in the under eyes, no mess during the day, but also it's a little thicker than some mascaras that are very thin but not thick and doesn't make spidery lashes. So I think this one strikes the perfect balance. The article talked about skipping super dark brows and going with a brow product your own color. I would agree with that, but I today went a tad bit darker. And sometimes that can help, especially if you're going out in the evening, you want a little more of a dramatic look, but not over the top. So what I did today, I went with soft brown, and normally I wear a taupe. And this added, I think, a little more warmth to my face too. My brows are actually sort of a mousy color. They don't have much life to them. So adding the soft brown, I think, goes better with the color of my own skin, which is very warm. I would say if you have warm brows, that you definitely want to use a warm pencil or cool tone, more of a cool tone pencil, so it looks more natural. But I think giving a little more oomph to the brows can really make the shape of your eyes stand out. Cakey concealers are not good for anyone. And so again, talking about women our age staying away from cakey concealers, I think that should go across the board to everyone. I picked a thicker concealer today to show you how I could make it work. First off, I applied my favorite Peeper Keeper. I love this so much better than the Aquaphor Hack. This just works beautifully in my under eyes. I like to wear it when I have no makeup on because it just keeps my under eyes so hydrated. My mobile lids are not very dry, but sometimes I get dry under here, and I'll just take a little of this and pat it into the skin so the flakiness will go away. Usually it's from maybe an eyeshadow primer that I've used that's so drying, I will find it will dry out my skin there, and this has really helped me with that. But I like to apply this first, some eye cream, just get that area very hydrated. Then I go in with my concealer. Now today I picked one that is full coverage because I wanted to show you how you can make it work. So this is the IT Bye Bye Under Eye. First off, that jelly tool comes in handy here because I use so little. I put it in the inner and outer corner first because I don't want a lot in the middle. That's where most of my fine lines are. In the inner corner of my eye, it's actually pretty smooth, and I think it is on most people. And the outer corner, that area is pretty smooth too, but down here is where I have the creasing. So I start blending. Even if you use something full coverage, it's going to smooth it out beautifully. And I'm really happy with the way this looks. I'm going to actually go back to using this because applying it this way, it covers any darkness in the under eyes, yet it doesn't look cakey. Some people would look at this highlighter and say, this is not for a 60-year-old woman or older, and I totally disagree. This applied correctly can look great on everyone. Even a younger person, I don't like that super long stripe of highlight. To me, that's just not a look that I would wear because mostly I'm out in stores, I am going around in town, and I'm not out at night where maybe that look would be what you're going for. I take the larger side of the beauty tool from Revlon, go into it, get the product on, and just stamp it in. I use so little that way. I love the way this turned out. It gave me such a soft glow. So you don't have to just use cream products when you're over 50 or 60. I think that's so limiting. You could take any highlighter you already own, use this tool. I like this better than my finger because I just love the way it applies. It just seems to work better. This is supposed to replicate your finger, but to me, it's 100% better. I agree with this article that matte lipstick can be so drying and that it's really important what you put underneath. I wanted to mention this lip scrub. This was sent to me recently by Handmade Heroes, and I've bought some of their other products, I'm sure. This is amazing. I have to say, I'm going to rank it above so many other lip scrubs that I've used. This one's coconut sorbet. They have another scent, but this is so moisturizing. I feel no scraping on the skin like I have with some. So this is really beautiful. It's important if you're going to wear a matte lipstick, I've found in my experience at least, to have my lips exfoliated and moisturized first. Otherwise, it applies patchy and it just doesn't look good. And the lines on my lips become so much more evident than when I'm wearing something like a cream that just looks so much more hydrated. So what I've done today is I've gone on my lips first with this IRL Filter Finish Lip Definer from Revolution. This is such a great lip pencil. It went on beautifully. I like that it rotates up. So I think one thing too with any lipstick you're wearing, as we get older, we sometimes lose the definition of our lips, or one side is saggier than the other. I noticed that in myself, that my left side of my lip is a little higher now than the right, probably from the way I have slept. So this helps even everything out. Now recently I did a ranking of lipsticks that I have in my collection, and I'll link that video below if you haven't seen it. But one of the lipsticks I talked about is this brand new one from Ilia. This is the Lip Sketch Hydrating Crayon. I didn't find it to be super hydrating, but it wasn't drying either. But I love the shade. It's long lasting. The shade I used is Pampas, and I just think it goes with so many things and is very wearable. What I've done today is I've added this from CoverGirl. I have repurchased this so many times. This comes with their long-lasting lipstick, but you can buy it separately for around $4. So beautiful. I put this on top of my matte lipsticks and they still last, yet look super hydrated. So this is a top coat. Look, I'll put a little more on. Beautiful. I think this should be in every woman's makeup bag because it really is such a helpful product. Powder is one of the other most controversial products for women over 50, over 60. I like powder, but I'm very strategic with the way I apply it. But even more than powder, I love this from Mally because when I powder, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to diminish my pores. I'm looking to get rid of shine on my face. And I'm looking to increase the longevity of the foundation. Well, this Mally does it for me. And you don't get that cakey look. I just take my wedge sponge, go into it, and anywhere I see shine, like I see a little shine here right now, just press that. And it takes away the shine. I think this is the best. I have tried so many that are so-called dupes. They never work like the Mally. The Mally, in my opinion, is the best. Now, another powder I would say I love to use as a foundation over my sunscreen is the Laura Geller. That's beautiful. I've mentioned it before. Her Baked Balance and Color Correct is my favorite because I always want to smooth out the look of my skin. But that's another one I would recommend that won't give you that heavy look on your skin. I wanted to mention that if you find when you buy a foundation, it does look more matte than what you like, get a setting mist that has some dewiness to it. This one from CoverGirl has been a long time favorite of mine. It's called the Priming Glow Mist. So whenever I put on a foundation that I'm testing and I go, oh, that looks a little dry looking, makes my skin look older, I spray this on top and it brings it to life. So this is just something I always keep in my collection. Another tip I wanted to add is when I'm applying makeup, I always put something on my lips. If my lips are hydrated, before I start applying lipstick. It just makes such a difference. I bought this air pump and put my Laneige lip balm in it. I love it because you just press and just the right amount comes up, and I love not having to dip my finger into the jar. Everything I use today is in the description of the video. I can't wait to read the comments. Let me know how you feel about glitter shadow. If you feel that some of these articles are so limiting, I love being unlimited. I want to be, going forward, Laura Unlimited. I love you all so much. Have a blessed week. Have some fun this week, and I'll see you soon.